Yo, what is up, everybody? This is Kyle and Mike from the Fantasy Phenom. It's always something, man. We are back to recap Thursdays. I got the days right this time. Thursday's 5-game slate, which again had some really frustrating news, and look ahead to Friday's 9-game slate. Yeah, 9-game slate.
9 games, yep.
So, I stressed earlier on the show today, because obviously I did a little later show, that entering lineups, or at least stacking 2 or 3 games, I've noticed, for me, myself, has scored a lot better than doing an optimal on the whole line, the whole main slate. Now, I can't tell you why that is, but it's just a trend I've noticed, and so I tested it out today, again, and the same thing happened. And also, on top of that, it is now furthering my reasoning for wanting to break down a full slate by slate. And the reason for that is Tony Parker and Kyle Lowry. And who else? Who else have we had this past week?
In the past week, man, I can't remember what my lineups were yesterday.
It's ridiculous.
It's just been every day.
Every day there's someone that sits out or gets hurt right after lock, and it kills you because there's absolutely zero news about it all day. Pau Gasol today, Avery Bradley, there you go. So
yeah,
it's just it's one thing after another. And so what this makes me want to do is break down slates. Break down slates, and did you see that message too?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Whatever. Break down slates and do it into 3-4 game slates at a time. And so
the NBA has made us have to do this.
It really has.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not just us; it's everyone in the media. Everyone is just wondering why now are owners and franchises doing this to their teams and to their fans even.
Yeah, the injuries are out of control this year, I feel.
It's not even injuries. It's just resting the players and being extra precautious. It's like, I don't think the injuries have been, happening more often. It's just that they're being more precautious with injuries.
That's fair. So let me show you my 6 lineups that I ran tonight. I broke even because of the Tony Parker news. So I had this first lineup here that hit 285 without Tony Parker. It missed cash. The cash line for me was 302 in the quintuple up that I played. I think I would have hit it had it not been for Tony Parker, which is kind of frustrating.
You and me both, man.
Dirk did his thing. Will Barton did his thing. Hassan Whiteside did not do his thing. That was very disappointing. Andrew Wiggins did his thing. Devin Booker, I thought he'd have a nice game. He did. Markieff Morris had a nice game. John Wall had an amazing game. Otto Porter had a good game. And you know what's frustrating is had I paid down to Gortat here and then maybe paid down from, I don't know, I got like Morris to someone else, I could have got LeBron in here and that lineup would have been killer. And then another extremely similar lineup. Are we looking at the questions?
Yeah, chat is heated right now. Everybody is pissed. Everybody is pissed about this, man. It's not just us. Everybody is pissed, and I think what Kyle said about, not to cut you off, Kyle, but just to address how heated the chat is. Everybody's gonna be playing these slates now. Everybody's over this late lineup. People being ruled out after lock. It doesn't make any sense, and obviously the sites are losing money because of it. Because if we're all heated, everybody else is too. So
I can't imagine.
We have to adjust our strategy,
I almost wonder because I can't imagine FanDuel is enjoying it either because of all the refunds they're given.
No, and it seems you'd think they'd be wanting to get an edge on DraftKings and vice versa. And one of the two, whoever decides to get rid of this late or add late swap would benefit completely. From a business perspective, I don't see why one wouldn't jump on that considering everyone's so upset,
Yeah. I'm interested. I think, how do you get a refund? I mean, if FanDuel allows it, you only get it one time, and a lot of people have already used it. Obviously, I already used it because of the other ones, but if you contact them, they might give you a refund. I played $75 in Tony Parker lines and got refunded $30, so it's something. But again, my second line with Tony Parker, 291. That would have, if Tony Parker does anything, I hit the cash line, and then 286 if Tony Parker does anything, I hit the cash line. So it's just it was disappointing for sure.
You want to talk about the good things on this slate, though? I think there's a lot of positive things that happened tonight.
Well, let's look at this. So I look at my other lineups, right, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Minus that lineup, I stacked. I stacked the slates, right? So this is where I went slates and look at 324, which someone else used. I know this was an optimal, and then 306. Both of those cashed. And Kenneth Freed, that lineup, man, that could have done some damage. But I think this is just further indication that you stack a slate. Like, pick a slate you really like and stack that and put it in the main lineup if you want to, or just play that slate.
Yeah, especially if you're a cash game player, it's almost, I'd rather play unsafe plays than play the main slate anymore, because that seems more unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a cash game player, you have no idea what's going to happen in the late slate as far as resting players and people deciding to, give them limited minutes because they're somewhat injured. It's almost like you can't even play cash game on the main slate after this week.
It's pretty upsetting, yeah. I do have one good thing, though. One of our viewers took down a GPP today. It was, I guess, a mini GPP at that, $200. And that was Jeremy. So shout out to Jeremy for taking that down and repping the logo at the top. He had a final score of, I believe, 356. So congrats to you, Jeremy.
Yeah, congratulations. $200, man. That's nothing to shy away from.
Especially on a night like tonight.
Yeah, definitely. See, there's always a couple people that are repping, and that's what it's all about.
So yeah.
If it's cool, I'd like to shout out the winners of our tournaments too.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Yeah, so the winner of the Phenom Duel tonight, the top Phenom of the night, is going to be, is that right? Looks like we got a tie, actually. Believe it or not, there is a tie for first place with 339.1, and we got Gangasta 78. Gangasta? Gangasta 78. And JW Coop 34. So 339.1. Nice line. Congratulations taken down tonight. And on DraftKings in the Money Melee, it's Garincha 77. And it looks like all three of these lineups had Karl Anthony. Oh, no, one of them didn't have Karl Anthony Towns. So
Karl Anthony Towns balled the fuck out tonight.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. If you're not in the tournaments, get on Facebook in our group and get a lineup in there.
Absolutely. So, again, my takeaway, break down the slates, man. Break down the slates. If you want to run I guess you can run GPPs and be risky, but I can't invest heavy money in a main slate anymore. It's just too risky for me. It doesn't pay off. I'd rather just play double ups and quintuple ups for more money in slates and go that way. It seems like the route to go right now until they fix late swaps. So and the scores are higher. The scores are higher stacking. So I think you're starting to see some correlation. And again, it's not a full team stack. It's what I'm noticing is no more than 3 players on one team is where the money is.
Yeah, I was talking about it in my show before lock tonight. You pick the play, especially in these short slates, or even if you're picking, so tomorrow if you're picking a short slate, 2-man stacks, run it back with one guy, no more than 3 guys, maybe 2 men on each side of the game. I think that's probably the best way to go.
And picking correlation guys. So like on the
Definitely.
Wizards, John Wall with Morris and Porter, both are guys that feed off of Wall. And then
Especially Porter tonight. I mean, he's just knocking down threes as of late.
Yep.
He's been what Bradley Beal has been to Wall all season in the last couple.
Yeah, and I really, besides Whiteside, man, everyone else, I mean, Derrick Rose didn't do great. I thought he'd have a better game, but 28 points. He picked it up in the fourth quarter. That's what saved him. Carmelo Anthony went off, though.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't feed Melo more in the second half there. They might have won that game.
Yeah. Melo, he ended the first quarter with 2 points.
He had a franchise record 25 points in a quarter in the second quarter.
Yep.
Nuts.
The slate tomorrow is interesting. So if we're going to talk about breaking down the slates, unfortunately FanDuel does not have it broken down yet, but DraftKings does, and it's in 3 slates.
Yeah, they don't have an early slate, but they have a main slate and then 2 other slates as well.
And those are which games?
So what they call a turbo on DraftKings. It's actually a 5-game slate, and it's all 4 games starting at 8 o'clock, and then the 8:30 game as well. And I believe the 4 games at 8 o'clock, that is going to include Brooklyn and New Orleans, Golden State and Houston, Sacramento and Memphis, Chicago and Atlanta, and Utah at Dallas. So those are your 5-game turbo slate. And then the late slate is going to be the 8:30 game and the late game in LA.
So that could be intriguing, and it's going to take a little bit of digging. Obviously, stacking Indiana is going to win you the money. But you're going to have to find some value plays or at least some sneaky plays on either Dallas or Utah. And that's what's going to win you.
Are you talking about the late slate?
The late slate, yeah, just those 2 games. That's where you're going to win the money at.
Right, and so we're just talking about why we want to play slates, though, because of this whole, people being ruled out after lock, and this late slate happens to lock at 8:30, and then one of the 2 games doesn't start till 10:30, or at least Eastern time. So it's kind of a tricky late slate where one of the 2 games starts 2 hours after lock.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for sure. I mean, but the good thing is, I think if you're stacking Indiana, they haven't shown any injury concerns or tendencies to lock a player out late.
That's true.
So we do have that going for them.
Although the Lakers, they're always up and down with injuries.
Yeah, I'm playing the Indiana side if I'm playing that game tomorrow. So. Mostly Miles Turner's probably one of my favorite centers tomorrow.
I would agree. Want to dive in?
Let's do it. As usual, we'll break down the slate from a position-by-position analysis, and then we're not going to implement it yet, but we're thinking, and let us know what you think about this. We're thinking of so instead of the triple threat, we're going to go back to 3 players, and what we're going to look at is a lock, a fade, and a value play. So, obviously, now the lock price is not dependent, right? So, and now obviously we're not going to fade someone we're not going to say, fade Spencer Dinwiddie. That's not what, when we're talking fade, that's not what we're looking at. We're definitely talking about someone that's probably stud or higher. Would you say, or at least probably like 7K or higher, right?
Yeah, I mean, not even that. I would say more of a player that people have been high on as of late, that perhaps we don't like their matchup. But yeah, most likely going to be someone that is mid-tier at least, or a stud.
I like it. So we'll definitely...
For example, I would have said fade LaMarcus Aldridge tonight after his good game. Last
I was high on Aldridge too. I thought he had a good matchup, but he definitely didn't do that well. But
that's just an example.
So yeah, look forward to that. We're still working on it. Anyways, point guards tomorrow from the Brooklyn side. This is one of my favorite games to stack tomorrow. If I'm gonna pick a 2-game slate and I'm gonna enter the main slate, I'm picking a 2-game stack like I mentioned. I'm gonna look at this Brooklyn New Orleans game for value and Golden State and Houston for my stars.
Yeah, I mean, it's been nice being a Nets fan that they suck because it's been easy to kind of catch trends so that I can find the right value play on Brooklyn, and I've been kind of trying to pick the right one all year long to put in my lineups, but still tough, man. It's still tough to figure out who's going to get the minutes.
I think you have to look at Drew Holiday tomorrow, right?
I think you look at him, I still think he's a bit overpriced on both sites, in my opinion. I mean, if you look at it, his games of 40-plus fantasy points are few and far between. Obviously, he's in a prime matchup against Brooklyn, but I don't know. He seems more to be a facilitator in this offense than he has been in years past.
I just think he's worth taking a risk on tomorrow.
Definitely. Absolutely. He's definitely in play. Obviously, he's got the best matchup for point guards on the slate. If not if not the best, one of the best.
Okay, what about Spencer?
But I just feel like
he's
consistently overpriced.
What about Spencer Dinwiddie? Jeremy Lin's still not back. New Orleans is right below Brooklyn in terms of guarding point guards.
So the whole thing with Whitehead and Dinwiddie, it's tough. One of the two seems to get the minutes, and one of the two doesn't. It's not like they're really splitting time. Like I said, I watch all the games, and I still can't figure it out. So I don't think I'm going there.
Okay. Chicago and Atlanta, another juicy one. Chicago has been terrible of late against point guards. They are the third worst team. Are we looking at Schroeder? His minutes have been declining.
No, I don't think I'm looking at Schroeder either, honestly. Are you?
No. I'm not high on this big of a slate. I'm not high on Schroeder.
Yeah, I don't think the matchup's that great as far as like a point total perspective. I think this is more of like a half-court game, and so that's why I'm kind of off the backcourt.
Okay, what about the reverse? Atlanta's pretty bad as well against point guards. Are we looking at MCW or Rajon Rondo?
Obviously, another streaming spot, just like Brooklyn point guards, Atlanta point guards. But there's really not a lot to love. So here we are. We have these two awesome spots for point guards, and it's not a lot of love in this Bulls backcourt. I don't think Michael Carter Williams is at 4,700 it's not good enough for me.
I agree. Hold on, I'm gonna check something real quick. Looks like the video was having an issue. Let me just.
Oh, really?
Yeah, let me just. I have a fix for this real quick. Da 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 da. Let's make sure that XSplit is getting the highest priority, and we should be good. Cool.
Yo, we back.
Yeah, we're good. My video never cut off, but apparently some did.
Yeah, I'm still good.
All right, so now we get to Golden State and Houston. Call me crazy, I like Patrick Beverly more than Steph Curry tomorrow.
For the price, I could be on board with that decision. I don't really know. Obviously, this is the game you want to spend your money on.
I'm not saying Pat Bev is going to score more than Steph Curry. I think he returns higher value.
Yeah, let's be clear now. Yeah, like I said, this is the game you want to invest your money in tomorrow, and especially in like cash formats. And do you want to invest that money in Steph Curry is the question.
And I don't.
Right, so you got to look at kind of elsewhere. You know, I would probably spend my money elsewhere and then try and add other players from this game that are mid-priced, such as a Beverly or a Gordon or
because I'm going to be paying
up or something.
I'm for sure getting Durant tomorrow, and I don't think you can roster Durant. And if you're going to roster Durant, I don't think you can make the case for rostering Curry at that price when you're going to be you're going to need some other at least mid-range guys, unless you want to go full out stars and scrubs. But I don't know if there's enough scrubs for me to feel comfortable in a cash game.
Yeah, and I don't think you can really. I mean, if you want to pick 2 studs from this game, I could see the case for Curry.
I'd go Harden and Durant if you really want to do that.
I don't know, because I don't know if you could go Harden and Durant. I don't know if there's enough value, especially if you're playing the 5-game slate. Maybe on the main slate.
It'll be tough. We'll see.
Obviously, I'd rather go Harden and Durant.
Yeah. I love Jeff Teague tomorrow. So I mentioned, obviously, an Indiana stack. Love Jeff Teague tomorrow.
Me too. I like his price. I think you can easily go down to Jeff Teague and feel comfortable about it. He plays well in this type of game against, in a high-paced game. We saw what he did against Sacramento. He actually, let me get this right. He only took 6 shots against Sacramento.
And still had 40 points.
He had 50-plus DraftKings points. He didn't make 6 shots. He only took 6 shots.
That's crazy.
So that's obviously a backcourt we like to exploit, and so is LA. And yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Why am I on centers? Oops. Let's get back on point guards. My bad. My apologies. Shit. Where's LA? Right here. LA's right there. Pretty bad. So definitely in play. I'm not really looking at D'Angelo Russell tomorrow. And then,
is that just because of the last game or the last few?
Not so much last. It's hard to trust that rotation. And again, I play mostly cash games now, and I can't do that in a cash game.
Right. So, but I'm saying if you're playing that 2-game slate, I would say that Jeff Teague is someone you can kind of go after. And being that D'Angelo Russell is one of the better players, I could see the argument on that 2-game slate as to why you would want to play Russell.
I can buy the argument. I just can't, for myself, roster D'Angelo Russell tomorrow. When I'm playing all cash and with high stakes, like these, I'm not gonna say
he's
high.
not a cash player.
Yeah, exactly.
So in that 2-game slate, who else are you looking at point guard?
I would probably have to go Darren Williams against Utah.
So he'd be your number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
I mean, Darren Williams, ex-team Utah. I know it's a back-to-back, but
they're at home. So
yeah,
I can see it.
Okay, what about Milwaukee and Orlando? Brogdon or Peyton? Where are you going there if you had to pick?
If I had to pick, I'd go Peyton.
So Milwaukee.
I don't have like a rationale, but that's if I had to pick.
Okay. Milwaukee's been pretty good as of late against point guards. They're actually the second best team in the league over the season. And even without Dellavedova starting, they haven't dropped that much in terms of over the last 5. Orlando's pretty bad, though. That doesn't concern you?
Orlando's not been a good team against point guards as far as a fantasy perspective?
No, they're terrible. They are a bottom 7 team in the league.
No, I mean, I don't see Elfrid Payton as like your traditional point guard going out there trying to drive and score, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He just seems to be more of a floor general type of point guard, and he's been doing well as of late, and his team is hurting for guard play. So, I just think from that perspective, he does a lot for this team other than score.
Okay. TJ McConnell is back and starting. He's going up against Portland. Do you like him against Dame Lillard?
No, I don't like TJ McConnell against Dame Lillard because, like I said last game, with Sergio back, it seems like he's not going to get 30-plus minutes. He's not going to get what he was getting that made his price rise to $5,500. You know, when Sergio was out, he was getting 35-plus minutes, and that made his price rise. And now that he's back and proven himself, I think his minutes go below 30, and we see more of like a 28-20 split.
Okay.
And I think his price is eventually going to come down to earth a little bit.
what about Dame? He hasn't. His price has gone. It's still at 8,400, and he's playing Philadelphia. Now, I think T.J. McConnell's a good defender, but what are you thinking there?
Yeah, I think T.J. McConnell can hold his own defensively, but it is Damian Lillard, and his price is still pretty fair at 8,400. And like we said last show, I think he's really yet to have that Dame Lillard game since he came back from the injury, and against the Sixers, I could see it happening.
I don't know. I don't see it happening against Philadelphia, not in Philadelphia, and I just think T.J. McConnell is a much better defender than people give him credit for. I don't see a good game from Dame tomorrow.
That's fair. I mean, there's probably other places I would rather go. I mean, on DraftKings, you could pay for $200 more. You could get Steph Curry. So why would you pay for Dame?
I wouldn't roster either, personally. You know who I do like tomorrow, though, is Mike Conley at home against Sacramento.
Yeah, Mike Conley and Jeff Teague are my two favorite point guards on this slate. Conley, last time they played Sacramento, was at Sacramento, was on New Year's Eve, and he had 22, 8, and 5, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just back playing minutes. I think he's averaging over 35 minutes a game in his last 5. He's doing it all for this team, and I don't know what his price is on Fan Duel, but he's only 7,100 on DraftKings, or 7,300 on DraftKings, and that seems to be a bargain against this backcourt. We just saw Jeff Teague light up.
He's 77 on Fan Duel, and I can buy that easily. And on top of that, he had a rough game against Washington. I believe he had under 30 points, so I can definitely get behind a Mike Conley play tomorrow. Hi, Missy.
Me too, man. Like I said, we just saw Jeff Teague crush this backcourt with Darren Collison, and I don't really see that being a match. And they played recently, and he did well. So with his minutes being up in a plus matchup and his price where it's at, I think it's a solid play to let you spend up elsewhere at a position like small forward.
So his price is a little high tomorrow, but I love playing point guards against Kyle Lowry, and that would be Kemba Walker tomorrow.
Yeah, the Kemba Walker's always in play to me. He's just he's always somewhat underpriced because he has duds here and there that keep his price low. But I would rather play Kemba over Dame Lillard for about the same price.
100%.
But again, like I said, my favorite two point guard players are Teague and Conley.
I like Conley more than Kemba as well. Do you like Kyle Lowry against Kemba tomorrow?
No, I didn't write Kyle Lowry down. I do like the play, but there are so many plays that I like at point guard. He had to narrow it down at some point.
I think point guard's always the hardest one to narrow down on a 9-game slate.
Absolutely.
Okay, so obviously I mentioned Darren Williams. His price dropped as well. It's down to 5,900. And if we're looking at that last 2 games for the after-hours slate, Darren Williams, I love him against Utah. George Hill hasn't been great either. The last couple games, he's been struggling.
He's been struggling on both ends, I think. But like you said, his price is down. I think the sites are really decreasing their prices are always depressed against Utah. I've found. Like every time I look at the team playing Utah, I'm like, wow, that's cheap for that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could say the same case with all these Dallas guys tomorrow. They seem much cheaper than they normally are. And like you said, it is somewhat of a revenge game. Darren Williams is is obviously a veteran. He can handle the defense. And George Hill, he might have the best on-court matchup of his team tomorrow.
Also, with that, Dirk is probably not going to play tomorrow. Had an ankle roll, I believe, today. Played through it. But I don't see any reason why Dallas plays Dirk tomorrow on a back-to-back with that ankle issue.
Yeah, especially if it's the same foot with the Achilles. I don't know if it is or not. But either way, he probably will be limited.
I don't see Dallas playing. I don't see any reason why Dallas would play Dirk tomorrow. So that you got to look at then. I mean, I don't know how much I like Harrison Barnes, but I wouldn't like Dirk tomorrow anyway against Gobert. But I think Darren Williams
Me
probably
neither.
gets. Sorry.
It's like they depress their prices on purpose so that you have to consider them, though.
Yeah.
Like at least on DraftKings, you look at all their prices for Dallas. They're all just very cheap compared to what they've been putting up as of late. So it's all like they make you try and consider.
So going back to this Brooklyn-New Orleans game for shooting guards, Sean Kilpatrick is under 4,000 and he's getting minutes again. He is not producing, but he's upwards of 22 minutes the last couple games.
He is. Kilpatrick is in a bit of a shooting slump, and I think that's why his minutes have been low. I do see him playing more minutes than Joe Harris going forward, even though he's coming off the bench. Because they don't run a bench unit, they just run many rotations. What?
I'm laughing at the Brooklyn Nets rotations are as unpredictable as the Nuggets.
Right, but if he's shooting well, he ends up in a lot of those rotations. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what the Nets do is they play the hot hand.
They don't play the hot hand. They play the hot 5 people that are doing well. Seriously, they do. You saw. I mean, it's the same thing we saw with the Lakers the other day when whatever 5 players on the court brought the team back in the game is what they went with. Well, the Nets do that every game, trying to get a win. Seriously.
I believe you.
I'm not joking. Look, I got them repping the Nets right now. We're good.
You got a lot of shit for being a Nets fan the last show.
Hey, I don't really care, man. I'll stay a Nets fan through the thick and thin. But yes, so Kilpatrick's in a slump right now. He's 3 for 18 from the field in his last 2 games, so it's kept his minutes down. But you do got to look at the fact his last good game was against New Orleans. He had over 30 DraftKings points in that game. And it can happen on any night with him. So he's a great tournament play. Especially at 3,900, he's 41 on Fan Duel. And like we said, on that 5-game slate, trying to find value, I think he's a good one to go to.
Do we see a repeat from Tyreek Evans tomorrow?
I mean, unless they want to just destroy his minutes restriction again because they want to beat the Nets. Hey, you never know with that coaching staff.
The Nets are ridiculously awful against shooting guards the last couple games. Like, I'm not even the average points given up to shooting guards is 37 points. Over the last 5, the Nets are giving up 50, Mike. 50.
Well, they just played DeRozan and I don't know who else, but still. Oh, and James Harden. Come on, you got to look at that as well. Who they've played in those 5 games.
That's true. We talk about digging into the stats, but they're still terrible.
I still don't buy the Tyreek Evans thing. If you're trying to sell me, I'm not buying.
Quick question for you, because someone mentioned you guys get a high draft pick. Doesn't that go to the Celtics?
I'm pretty sure we don't have a draft pick until I'm like 35. No, I'm pretty sure we don't have a draft pick until 2019, and it's a second-round pick, to be honest with you. Yeah, Billy King screwed us up big time.
Danny Ainge screwed you up with, you guys got Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce for...
I feel like there was something else that was a part of that trade that didn't make the media. Like, I think Billy King got like a share in the Celtics' future. And then he just got fired and was like, "It's all good. I got shares in the Celtics. You can fire me."
Oh my god, man, that makes me laugh. I love the Celtics have so many picks in the next couple of years. It's ridiculous. Okay, so I'm staying away.
We don't have any picks. We don't have any picks next year. We don't have a second round or a first round next year, and we don't have any the year after that. So. We're just trying to develop our talent by only playing Ronnie Hollis Jefferson 19 minutes a game.
So, something about New York teams and not having draft picks. The Knicks don't have any either.
Oh man. I have words.
I don't like Tim Hardaway tomorrow. Dwayne Wade, not really.
Not really, no. It's not a really juicy game. Point total is listed at 203.5. I think you can find other players in that price range and better matchups.
Klay Thompson tomorrow. James Harden defense. A lot of threes are going to be shot, I think. This has a chance to break that record that you guys in Houston just set.
88 3-pointers attempt. Yeah, it does have the potential. So let me just bring this in a bit. So December 1st, these two teams played in Golden State. It was a double overtime game. The Rockets won the game. So it was one of Golden State's losses this year. And they won the game by 5. It was 132 to 127. Vegas has the point total at 236.5 tomorrow. Klay at that time was kind of in his shooting slump. If you recall, at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And as of late, in the last 3 games, he has shot 57% from 3. He's 12 for 21. So, if you're looking at this game, obviously the Rockets want to shoot 3-pointers, and the game is obviously the Golden State Warriors want to shoot 3-pointers. Pat Bev on Curry and Klay shooting 57% from 3 in the last 3 games. Potential is there. I mean, he will have James Harden, and I do think Klay is even though the fantasy numbers don't say it, I do think he is an elite one-on-one defender on the perimeter. So they might just tell him to focus on that. But still, you want a piece of this game. He's decently priced.
Okay, so just off the top of my head, I haven't ran this yet. And I don't know if I can do it. Klay Thompson, James Harden, Kevin Durant. Actually, you know what? Damn it. No, I think I'm going to go... you know what? I'd rather go James Harden and Eric Gordon tomorrow.
So, I already tried to make lineups on DraftKings today. And obviously, I just tried to start out with Harden and Durant to see where it could get me. And I couldn't get there. And I ended up with a lot of Kevin Durant and Eric Gordon tomorrow.
I love Eric Gordon tomorrow.
So I think I'm rostering more Eric Gordon than Klay Thompson.
I would too. But I like both.
The thing with Eric Gordon is he really does need to score 20 points in order to get value. But that being said, he's scored 20 points, or he scored 19 points in 7 of the last 10 games.
Yeah.
So if he's scoring 20-plus real-life points in the majority of games, I don't see how he doesn't score 20 points in this matchup.
Okay, I think this is going to be a sneaky play. And I know I'm jumping ahead here. Montrezl Harrell tomorrow.
I don't think that's as sneaky as you think, man. I think everyone's going to try to get ownership in this game.
But do you think people are going to... I don't think people are going to be on Montrezl Harrell tomorrow. And I don't see Clint Capella playing a lot of minutes in this up-tempo game. I just don't see him... I mean, he's been out of the game for a while, right? So I don't know how his stamina is. But I just see this being a Montrezl Harrell game. And I don't see Nene making it in this game.
Oh, yeah, everything points to this being a Montrezl Harrell game. I totally agree with you. His price is even a little bit lower than it's normally been. It's only 4.8 on DraftKings. And like you said, any reason to get a piece of this game is a good reason, in my opinion.
Yep. Damn, someone said I don't think Harrell's a sneaky play at all, actually. Damn it. I was hoping people wouldn't be on him as much, but...
No, he definitely is in my player pool.
Fuck you guys. I wanted to look good. Are we buying any Lou Williams tomorrow? You know I love Lou, and going up against Indiana's probably, I think, based on eye test, I think shooting guard's their worst spot. And I mean the stats back it up too. They're one of the worst teams. They're bottom 16, but
yeah, I mean outside of Gordon and Klay in that game, shooting guard's pretty slim tomorrow, to be honest with you. So I could see you taking some tournament flyers on Lou Williams and or Nick Young. If It's just like we talked about with D'Angelo Russell. Are the minutes going to be there? Is the shot going to fall? It's more of something I would look at on that late slate. Or if that's how much money I have left, say in my last spot on DraftKings, something like that,
Yeah, I agree. His price is high, $4,900 for Lou. That's rough, but
I mean, he was over 7,000 at one point this year.
he was, and what's crazy is he's still averaging more than he needs for 5 times value. So
yeah, he was crushing it.
The thing is, if Lou gets hot and he has streaks, and he's on a streak right now, or at least he's at the start of one, he can do it.
Sounds like you're talking yourself into it, man.
I love Lou tomorrow. I mean, here's the thing though, is again, I'm not playing the main slate. I'm just telling you guys that I like tomorrow, but half these guys that I'm talking about won't be in play for me because I'm not playing main slates. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to keep risking my money doing that. I've been fortunate enough to break even 2 out of the last 3 nights and lost money the other night, but I'm not doing it anymore.
Like I said, it's a slim position tomorrow, so I think Lou could make it into consideration on the main slate as well.
Fair. No Evan Fournier, no Jody Meeks, Mario Hezonja.
So yeah, last game, Jody Meeks left. He tore ligaments in his thumb, is electing not to have surgery, and is going to be out, they say, at least 3 weeks, similar to the Chris Paul injury. Mario Hezonja, he actually he had more of a role last year. I don't know if you were on him last year at all playing DFS.
I was not.
But he had more of a role last year. He actually averaged closer to 18 minutes a game. And I kind of extrapolated his numbers from last year to like a per 36 basis if he gets to start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you took his numbers from last year where he had more of a role, and his per 36 was 12.3, 4.4, and 2.8. So we're looking at a possible, if he gets to start, something like 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Now, on DraftKings, he's only 3,000, so that makes it a little bit of an easier punt than it does on DraftKings on FanDuel, where he's 3,500.
Someone just asked me. So I just touch on this. Someone just asked me why I'm not playing a main slate. Tony Parker, Avery Bradley, Kyle Lowry are the reason I'm not playing a main slate. I'm not doing this after lock injury news anymore. I always seem to get a player that locks. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing a main slate. I will play a slate where all the injury news is known before the game locks, or at least I have the best potential for that to happen. I'm not doing main slates until this shit is fixed.
Kyle, what I think we need is like a soundbite of some sad piano music. So when times like this come up, we can just cue the soundbite and we can have a little eulogy.
I'm pissed, man. I had so much potential to win money tonight. All those were in couple ups, quintuple ups. Yeah, shit. I'll take a couple up too. But all those were in quintuple ups, and that was mad money. I had the potential to probably come up $600 in cash games tonight had it not been for damn Tony Parker.
Yeah. So guys, me and Kyle made it a point of emphasis today on the show to talk about guys in reference to different slates. So I hope that's coming through to you guys today.
So feel free to play the main slate. But here's the thing, though, and like we said, even if you play the main slate, stack it. I'm telling you, it works. I'm telling you, I've been doing it and it works. Stack the like 2 or 3 of your favorite games, and don't stack a team. Do 2 or 3 players from each team. I promise you, it's been working.
You guys hear me say it all. I mean, this has been my strategy for a couple years now. I pick the game I want to invest my money in.
I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
No? Stop. That's what I do, man. I pick the game I want to invest my money, and that's where I look at to try and get a nice 2-man stack. Solid strategy.
Okay, we didn't talk about Giannis. Are you looking at Giannis tomorrow? I think he's got to be in play, but
A lot of studs tomorrow. I think my favorite is Kevin Durant. So I don't know how I would rank the studs, to be honest with you. I would probably go Durant, Harden. I hate to say it, but probably Anthony Davis third.
Anthony
And
Davis
then
has
Giannis.
the potential to eat tomorrow.
So yeah, if
But
I'm ranking, like I said, if I'm ranking studs, I'd probably go Durant, Harden, Davis, Giannis.
don't be surprised if Trevor Booker gets pissed off though and hits him in the head too.
That was Trevor Booker's game plan. He was like, "I'm not letting this dude get the best of me today. Take his eye out."
I like Giannis a lot tomorrow though. I like Giannis right after Harden. Tony Allen, no thank you, even though it's against Sack. CJ McCollum against Philadelphia, I like him more than Dame, in my opinion.
I do too. No, I don't. I like Dame more. I don't have a take for you. I just do.
Okay. Sacramento, a ton of not value at all. We're not going to look at them. Nick Batum against DeRozan, I don't like, but I do like DeRozan against Batum.
So you're going Kemba against Lowry, DeRozan against Batum?
Yes.
I think I like Kemba and Batum stack.
DeRozan is a really good defender. And I know Batum is an amazing player, but Batum is also a fucking terrible defender.
I think they're both kind of terrible defenders. I don't know what to think in this game, to be honest. The line opened as a pick'em. So that to me, especially that to me says that this is a game you could potentially stack, and yeah, I think there's a sound strategy in going Kemba DeRozan, Kemba Batum, Lowry DeRozan, Lowry Batum. Like I think you could make an argument for any one of those four stacks.
If MKG guards DeRozan, I still like it. MKG hasn't been great at all this year either, so and I think MKG is just going to get in foul trouble.
Yeah, it doesn't really move the needle for me.
Seth Curry, I think if there's a position to attack tomorrow in this Dallas-Utah game, you got to look at Wes Matthews, or actually no, damn it, I don't know. It's hard to trust Seth Curry, but I can't go Wes Matthews against Gordon Hayward. And
I don't think you go either, to be honest with you.
But you don't think
obviously Seth Curry's going to be on Ingles, so I don't know. I think I'd rather play Ingles against Curry than Curry against Ingles. Can't believe we're talking about that, but you know what I'm saying?
Ingles and Johnson, like that doesn't scare me for Seth Curry, and Seth Curry can get hot.
But Seth Curry doesn't really scare me against Ingles. You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I just think, man, this game is going to be rough.
Someone just said Batum is a shutdown guy. Batum has been terrible on defense this year, by the way. Terrible. Batum used to be a great defender, but this year he's been awful. And I thought Batum was a good defender too. And I saw these DVP stats and I was like, what the hell is going on? And I looked, and nah, dude, he's been terrible, awful. So, someone just said Ingles is garbage on 2K.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, that's great. Rodney Hood is, I think, still out, so I'm not looking, obviously, there.
He's not playing, nope. Poor guy.
That dude can't stay healthy. Small forward. Which one of these guys is going to go off tomorrow for Brooklyn, Mike?
Don't put me on the spot like that, man. I wish I had a crystal ball for you. So I used to have this like thing in my head where Rondé Hollis Jefferson got the extra minutes against a team that had a lot of size, and Bogdanovich got the extra minutes against teams that were undersized. But now LeVert came back from his injury and wants to play 20 minutes too. So again, if the Nets were smart, they would be playing all three of these guys more. I'm trying to develop them, but it seems like they're all on a timeshare and it's the hot hand. And
I like LeVert the most out of them.
He's definitely I was just about to say, he's the guy that's on the up for them. His minutes are consistently trending upward. He's not going to get you 30 minutes. None of these guys are going to get you 30 minutes. But I think he's the safest bet to hit 24.
I like LeVert.
I like him much better on DraftKings. He's only 3,300.
I just think, I can't go Rondé Hollis Jefferson, that price, 500 more. Not that that's anything crazy on FanDuel, but I like LeVert's upside more.
Yeah, and he's also gaining more confidence. So he's doing more with his minutes than he was in the beginning. As he sees more time on the floor, I think he's asserting himself more often. At least I've seen.
I'm just reading. Do you see that bottom comment? This is why I love you guys. I love you guys, man. And
what was he protesting?
That's that Cali Kush, though.
What was he protesting?
Was he wearing a bow tie? Oh my god. Sneaky play for me in this game is Solomon Hill.
The thing about Solomon Hill is the minutes, man. He's not a sexy play at all.
He's not a very good player, but if he gets the minutes, we talk about.
He's got 30 plus in his last 4. He's returned value in 3 of those 4, and he had 37 DraftKings points against Brooklyn last week. So
that's what we talk about bad players.
He's only 3,200 on DraftKings.
Yeah, we talk about bad players and good matchups, and this is one of them. Solomon Hill's a terrible player, but he has a great matchup.
Yeah, again, it's not a play that I'm excited about, but if you're looking for value on this, like I said, this 5-game slate, I think he's one of the guys you're looking at. Like I said, on DraftKings, only 3,200, and he's proven himself in the past 4 games. So,
well, we talk about. I mentioned on the show I want to go stars on the Houston Golden State game, and then scrubs on. New Orleans and Brooklyn. Yeah, and you can do that.
Nothing out of these 7 small forwards.
The 7 of them.
The several 7, as we'll call them.
You know what? Nice. You know what, though? I actually can't hate on Kent Bazemore. Chicago's... Kent Bazemore's not my least favorite play tomorrow. I can see it for value. How about that? I'm not going to guarantee anything with Bazemore because you never know with him. But there's worse plays. How about that? There are worse plays.
Okay.
Nobody likes Bazemore, but I got off the train last time and he didn't produce. I'm not getting on the train fully this time. I'm going to put one foot on and see how packed it is before I get back on. See if I trust the driver before I get back on that train.
Yeah, I don't know who's driving that train.
Here comes all the Bazemore hate. Just look at it flooding in.
Yeah, let it flow, guys.
I knew it was coming.
We need to drown Kyle.
Oh man, Jimmy Butler against Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't think you can fade Jimmy Butler. I don't think there's a game or a matchup that I would want to fade Jimmy Butler at right now. He is on fire. He has he's averaging 56 DraftKings points if you take out the game he was sick over his last 10 games. That to me is crazy. He's only 8,900 on DraftKings, and he's averaging 56 points in the last 10 games.
Yeah, the dude's a beast right now. Yeah. And he had a better flu game than Jordan. Although we all know that flu game wasn't even real. It was a hangover game.
Yeah, he's like on a triple-double watch every night now. It's crazy what he's doing for that team, and you can't fade him tonight or tomorrow night.
Kevin Durant, is he in play?
Yeah, he's in play. I like Durant and Butler.
You thought that was a serious question?
Obviously not. He's my favorite. He was my favorite play the other night, and he put up 70. So let's do it again.
Andre Iguodala, sneaky punt play tomorrow?
I think he could be. Obviously, like I keep saying, you want to have as much exposure in this game as possible. I think he's only 3,500 on DraftKings, and yeah, I mean, he's been consistently getting around 20 or 25. I mean, I'm not saying consistently, but it happens more than it doesn't. He gets around 20 or 25.
I
also think that Golden State goes small. I think we see less than 15 minutes of Zaza tomorrow, which usually means more minutes for Iggy.
True that. I like Ariza and Sam Decker tomorrow. I kind of like Decker as a good punt play as well.
Yeah, I'm hopping off Ariza. I think you could possibly get on Decker, but
didn't Decker have a good game last time?
The last two games without Ryan Anderson, he's seen 25 plus minutes, and I think he's only returned value in one, but he got close in the other.
I'm talking about the last time they played the Warriors. Didn't Decker have a good game? Didn't he have like 25 points or something?
Everybody had a good game because it was double overtime.
Yeah, but
let me look at the. So yeah, Decker had 26 minutes, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals.
Yeah.
So that'll do it. But again, it was a double overtime game, so we also saw 44 minutes of Ryan Anderson.
If George was here, Ryan Anderson would be a must play tomorrow.
I think he's definitely got some consideration if he comes back, in my opinion.
Okay, Paul George against LA tomorrow, got to be a good look, right? I hate playing Paul George. I'm not gonna lie. Paul George never seems to hit value, and he has a terrible ceiling. But especially in the late game slate, he's a lock. But overall, is he a good play? The matchup's there.
It's a little bit more interesting on FanDuel. His price is $500 cheaper. He just hasn't been getting there. He just hasn't been getting to that price. I think on DraftKings, I think he's a little bit overpriced, and I would rather find a way to pay up to Butler. Or even you have Gordon Hayward at the same price. I think you can consider him as well. I don't know. I don't know if I'm feeling Paul George tomorrow.
Everyone immediately just says no Paul George.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him either.
I'm not either, but I'm just the matchup is juicy.
Yeah, it is.
Michael Beasley. I called him last time. He had a good game. Does he get minutes again? Jason Kidd probably saw that he had a good game and is like, you know what, time to sit on the bench.
Yeah, no thank you, man. I don't know if I'm ever playing anybody on Milwaukee other than Giannis or Parker ever again. It's tough. It really is. And his price is too high for me right now to be considered a value play with his minutes fluctuating so much, you know?
Okay, here's one of my favorite plays tomorrow. Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, mine too, man.
Yeah.
I'm totally on board. He's 5,400 on DraftKings, and in the last 9 games, he's either had over 30 fantasy points or below 20. So the fact he's not going to hit that number 25 Because in the last 9 games, he's either been over 30 or below 20.
I think he goes over tomorrow.
I think he's got a great shot.
Milwaukee is so bad at small forward. And I don't care who's out there. Who starts for them? Is it Snell still?
I think we've been seeing a lot of Jabari guarding the small forward and Giannis guarding the power forward as of late. I've been watching their games.
Speaking of that, real quick, who the fuck is going to play center for the East in the All-Star game? LeBron James is the biggest player on that starting team.
They don't have centers on the ballot anymore. It's either backcourt or front court.
I know. There's like 2 forwards and 3 guards. Who the hell is going to play center?
Neither team's going to have a center. Seriously.
I believe it's just what the hell is going on?
It's just kind of what they just have decided to do, I guess. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's just what it is, man.
Also, Westbrook, if I'm Westbrook, man, I literally get
How did that happen?
I literally get into the All-Star game and I'm not passing the ball one time. I don't care what the hell happens. Westbrook, if I'm Westbrook, I'm not passing the ball once. Fuck everyone for fading me. Or for starting Steph Curry.
Apparently he doesn't want to dribble anymore either. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
No, it's crazy. It really is crazy they snubbed him like that. But it happens every year. It's like, for some reason, it's just like the media just can't. They just love Steph Curry too much.
I love how Who's uglier, Boba or Snell? I think Boba is.
What about Pat?
Pat looks like Squidward. Okay. Robert Covington against Portland tomorrow. Portland's been pretty bad against small forwards, although they've been better of late. I actually like the other way. I like Mo Harkless more than Bob Covington tomorrow.
Yeah, Covington played like 36 minutes last game in a good matchup against Toronto without DeMar Carroll and barely had 20 fantasy points. So he's definitely not someone that you can lock in to returning value. Mo Harkless at 4,400 is definitely a better bet.
I guarantee you someone's going to be an asshat tomorrow and put Ben Simmons in their starting lineup because he's now on FanDuel. Someone with money to waste will do it.
He got pushed back more. I don't think he's going to play until March.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I'm not fading Westbrook anytime till after the All-Star game. Yeah, he's going to go off every single game. He's pissed.
I don't think that guy sleeps, man. He's like a robot. Like, he just has unlimited energy. I'm convinced if he was like a running back in the NFL, he would be running shit.
Matt Barnes, I think he'll see increased playing time. Well, he definitely will. I don't think he starts tomorrow. If I know the Kings' rotation, Jaeger loves him off the bench. I don't see him starting, although it is against Memphis in Memphis, so that could be a good play.
Yeah, Matt Barnes had 33 minutes against Memphis last time they played and put up 28 and 3. And with Rudy Gay out, I imagine he'll get similar minutes tomorrow, whether it be off the bench or in the starting lineup.
Yeah. Kid Gilchrist against Toronto, no thank you.
Yeah, I can go either way with that.
DeMar Carroll. If DeMar Carroll doesn't play, I love Terrence Ross at 3,800.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been looking for news on DeMar Carroll. I thought it was a concussion. I was watching it happen, and they say it was a neck injury. That's why he was laid on the floor for so long. You've seen them start Norman Powell when they rested DeMar Carroll throughout the season. And I kind of hope they do, and I would still rather play Ross. Like, I still think Ross is going to get closer to 30 minutes than Norman Powell, and I would rather see Ross coming off the bench.
I agree.
I don't know if I like him as much if he starts.
Out of this Dallas-Utah game, I like Harrison Barnes, especially if Dirk doesn't play, a lot more than Gordon Hayward. Barnes' usage is really high without Dirk, and I think he against Derek Favors he has a really good game.
Yeah, Dirk being back has really depressed his price because his rebounding numbers have suffered a lot. You know, he's gone from getting 7 or 8 to 3 or 4 rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that perspective, I think it'll be, he's obviously better without Dirk, but I don't know, his game, I don't know if I want to pay for studs in this game.
Looking at power forwards for Brooklyn and New Orleans, I'm going to be contrarian, if that is contrarian, and I'm going to go Trevor Booker over Anthony Davis.
I'm not going to do that, man. I know Trevor Booker plays bigger than he is, but this is a matchup nightmare for the Nets.
No, I like Booker.
They have no one that can guard Anthony Davis.
They don't, but Pelicans are terrible against power forwards too, and I'll take Booker for half the price.
Okay. I just don't see him getting his prime offensive game tomorrow.
I like Paul
Millsap. Then again, there really isn't anybody else around that price, so I can see it.
I like Paul Millsap against Chicago. I don't like Taj against Atlanta.
I don't necessarily like either. I will say that power forwards have been putting up okay numbers against the Hawks.
Agree with that. Draymond against Houston's obviously a good play. Ryan Anderson against Golden State could be a good play. Again, Harrell is a good play in my opinion. Anything else to add from that?
Yeah, I do like Draymond actually. I could see you fading Durant for Draymond.
Okay.
I could see the argument for it.
Interesting.
Again, I don't see them playing a lot of Zaza in this game. I think I see under 15 minutes for Zaza in this game. And let's look at the last game. Again, this was a double overtime game, but he had a triple double, 2015 and 9, almost had a triple double.
Okay. What about Thad Young against the Lakers? Think you have to?
No.
No. What?
Mm-mm.
What?
I don't think Thad Young is. This is the type of game for Thad Young. I think if you look at his stats in high pace of games this season, he hasn't performed well.
I can see Thad Young having a good game tomorrow, and then I like Julius Randle as well.
I like Julius Randle too.
Julius Randle's got to have a bounce back game at some point.
I only like Julius Randle just because there's not much to like on this slate for power forwards, especially at that price, in that price range, I should say.
Okay. Jabari against Orlando? I'm not really high on that pick.
No, I don't think so. I think you'll see a lot of Ibaka.
What about... Okay, one of my favorite power forwards is Ersan against Portland.
Me too, absolutely. I think Ersan and Embiid are both in play against this front court, and with Aminu on Ilyasova, I think that's a matchup you can exploit. I don't think they play a similar game. I don't think Aminu can really keep up.
If Ilyasova's shot is on tomorrow, he's gonna have an amazing game.
If he gets his minutes, he exceeds value, definitely. He's only 5,300 on DraftKings, too. Just going back to the Thad Young thing, what I was looking at, so we got Denver, right, higher pace game, Brooklyn, higher pace game. I think you could put Sacramento and Washington in there as well. And in all 3 of those games, he failed to hit 25 fantasy points. All 4 of those games.
Huh?
That's just was my reasoning behind it.
Yeah. Zach Randolph could play against Sacramento, I think.
It could be.
I don't see anyone that's going to stop him.
No, me neither. And I like to think that, I don't think anybody's going to be on Gasol tomorrow because of the boogie thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to think perhaps there's a good reason behind that and to pivot to another big man on the team to get the stats that is going to be taken away from Gasol. You know what I mean?
Fair. Tolliver, I'm not really looking at. I'm not looking at any power forwards from SAC.
Nope.
Kaminsky could be in play. So is Marvin Williams. Toronto's terrible at power forward, especially no Patterson. Jared Sellinger, I'm not looking at with his minute restriction. Dirk obviously might not play. Derek Favors, I'm not really looking at against Harrison Barnes. Anything?
Nope, nothing.
All right, cool. We can just skip right over that.
A lot of centers in play tomorrow, though.
Brook Lopez, again, he'll be low owned tomorrow, but he's going to have a good game.
I think he will. I think he's got a good shot to reach value. I just think there are so many centers on the slate tomorrow that I like that I think it's easy to cross him off the list.
Dwight Howard against Chicago is in play. Not my favorite play, but he's in play. Not looking at Robin
same
Lopez.
Thing. Yeah, same thing with all three of those guys.
No centers from the Houston Golden State game, right?
Yeah, unless you consider Harrell a center.
Damian Jones averages -2 fantasy points a game. Are we looking at him?
I never heard of that name before, so.
How do you average?
Hey.
I don't know how you
Negative?
do that. -2 points.
Really?
He averages -2 points. Someone said Brook Lopez is going to get 3 rebounds.
Yeah, he is.
Miles Turner, I love tomorrow against LA. That's a great play.
Yeah, opposite what I was saying with Thad Young. It seems to be the correlation. The high-paced games, the points go to Turner over Thad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Look at New York, 65 points. Or sorry, LA, 65 points against centers in the last 5. Miles Turner is a lock for me tomorrow.
I agree. I think the Turner-Teague stack is something that I'm strongly considering getting into every lineup.
I can see it. Greg Monroe has a good matchup against Orlando, and regardless of who plays center there. But I also like the reverse with Vucevic.
I do like the reverse with Vucevic a little bit more. Only 6,700 on DraftKings, so it's a nice little dip off that 74. But again, I think there are centers I like more.
I like Monroe.
Like I said,
I like Monroe over Vucevic tomorrow.
Yeah, especially you have Turner at 6,900 as opposed to Vucevic at 6,700. I don't see why you'd roster Vucevic over Turner tomorrow.
I agree with that. Turner's my favorite center play tomorrow. Embiid is playing tomorrow against Portland. His price is high, but he seems to deliver value. I'd rather play Miles Turner. I think you can get similar points at a lower price.
Than who?
Than Embiid.
Yeah, Embiid's got a great matchup, but that minutes restriction sucks, man. I feel like he'd be on pace to get like 80 a game.
Yeah. I'd rather go Turner. I think you can get, like I said, similar points.
I think so too. I mean, there is some caution with Turner, I will say. Everything I looked at, doing some research, if he doesn't take, he needs 15 field goal attempts to hit value. He hasn't returned value if he takes less than 15 shots. So he has to be a prime part of this offense.
Turner?
Yeah, and I think that happens tomorrow, but there is some caution behind it. Obviously, he has a rebounding advantage in that front court. We just saw with what like a young 5-tool big man can do with Jokic. So I think Miles Turner is a similar type of form, big man, Mm-hmm. So there's that to be said.
I like Boogie over Gasol. I think Boogie without Gay should be highly considered every time he plays.
Absolutely. Boogie is most definitely in play. He just had a triple-double against Indiana.
Yeah. I just think Boogie. There's no one on the Kings team that's worthy of rostering at this point. Like, or not worthy of rostering, but Boogie, I feel like, I don't want to say he's a lock, but the dude is the entire offense is going to go through him.
Yeah, but they're going to try and stop him too. Gasol is going to be their stopper tomorrow, and that's why I was saying I think you can comfortably see the points he normally puts up fantasy-wise getting distributed to some of the other big men on Memphis and Conley. So I like a Conley Boogie kind of game stack.
On this kind of slate, I'm not rostering Boogie because I'd rather pay up elsewhere, as New York fan just mentioned. But Boogie I think he's gonna eat tomorrow, and from here on out.
I know, it's like, can you fade this? The question comes, can you fade this Houston Golden State game?
I can't. I don't think you win money if you fade that game.
I don't think you can do that if you're playing a cash game. It's only a kind of a GPP type of strategy.
Mm-hmm.
But you do have other studs like Boogie that we agree are in good matchups, so that if you are a gambler, there are ways you can go.
Out of these last 4 teams or last 2 games, Rudy Gobert is really the only center I'm looking at.
Yeah, I like Rudy Gobert actually a lot on DraftKings at 7,100. The dude is just a rebounding machine right now. And if he's going up against Measury...
Yeah, there's no one to stop him.
So check this out. Rebounds, 17, 19, 11, 14, 12, 13, 16. Like, I could just go on forever. This guy's been a double-double machine. I don't know. He needs to be an all-star. He had over 50 DraftKings points in each of his last 2 games. It's a great matchup. I think he's a little bit underpriced, and I don't think people are going to be on him because no one ever is.
I agree. He always is a forgotten guy, but that's okay with me. So, well, shit. Obviously, we have about 10 days left of these sheets being free, so make sure you are on the list if you want them for the grandfathered in price. Again, that will be it's set now, $2.50 a month. I will have an updated price for you in terms of if you want to pay a lump sum for the end of basketball season. And then, as always, we won't be charging for baseball. Well, it'll overlap. The seasons overlap, obviously. But until we are comfortable with our baseball projections, we will not be charging for that. So now, if we have it right by the end of basketball season, then obviously, the price will just continue. But I promise to you guys, I won't charge for something that I'm not confident in myself. So baseball is going to be a long test. As always, if you enjoy the show, give it a thumbs up. It helps. We're trying to get those subscribers back up. Am I missing anything, Mike? Again, if you want the spreadsheets, if you want to get on that list, again, 10 days left to get it for the cheap price. Link is in the description. Free for the rest of January. After that, we're gonna start. It's a very small price, $2.50 a month, but we got you guys covered. Projections are doing well. I'm very confident in my projections. You know what? Speaking of that, real quick, I want to point something out. It surprises me every time that someone runs my optimal lineup on another site. It's always projected under 300, Mike.
And that's always wrong. So obviously, the lineups they're probably putting out are wrong too. So
well, it just kind of surprises me. Like, all these sites seem to be extremely conservative in their projections, and I don't know if it's because they're afraid of missing. Whether it's like, oh shit, like the player didn't hit projection, and it's a lot easier to say, oh, the guy exceeded value or exceeded his projection and exceeded his ceiling, than it is to say, he didn't hit his projection. I feel like I feel like that's the reason.
Yeah, they don't want the negative, I guess, publicity, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just have no problem coming on here and saying, oh, shit, this guy didn't hit projection.
Yeah, if you guys are watching, you guys know what it is. I mean, you guys are out there messing with these sites, and, I mean, granted, when people use those sites and they go out and play, they rarely probably look back and see,
how they did.
Site. Yeah, they just kind of worry about results anyway.
Yeah. So it's just something that intrigued me. But as always, make sure you're following the sites above or to that way. I'm going to get it right eventually. That way. The business page is where, yeah, there you go. The business page is where Mike goes live most days before lock, and he will break down any last-minute questions and answers, any injury news. On Twitter, we're always releasing any news that comes out as soon as I get it. Unfortunately, things like Tony Parker doesn't come out in time. That Facebook group discussion, get your ass in there. I don't care if you're not on Facebook. Make a damn Facebook account and get in there. That is the place to be. The best DFS heads in the industry, I'm telling you. So many guys have knowledge in there. And I'm not even going to say, some of these guys are smarter than I've ever seen. So get in there. If you have any questions, that email, that PayPal right there, if you would like to leave a donation. Always appreciated, never asked for it, never needed. Jury duty's over. I'm on call if I need to go back in, but it's over. I'm off tomorrow, last day, and then I'm back to work, unfortunately, so it's not like it gets any better. And then finally, links are in the description below. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Mike, thank you again for coming on the show.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, please get involved. The whole point of the Fantasy Phenom is for you guys to get involved. It really is. Like, get in the Facebook group, share with everyone your research process, and build this knowledge base so that every single day we have all of you guys putting your input in so that we can all build the best lineup and take some shit down and win the money on a daily basis. Every day someone's winning big money. And so if you're not in there learning from each other and providing, your own input, you got to be. You just got to be. So exactly. Obviously we appreciate you guys watching. That's the start, but getting yourself involved is really how you succeed.
Absolutely. We got, like I said, a lot of good minds in there. So, yeah. Well, thank you guys again. Have a wonderful night, and we will talk soon.